Any chances? Is this working? Any chances? We should be live. Any chances? Is this working? There we go. That's working. Good. Sorry about that. That's... Hello. How are you doing? Do apologize. Right. Let's talk about the update. My thoughts on it. What I think. I know other people have done videos on it. But whatever. Live streaming can be annoying sometimes. Wanted to do it live so you know you'd get my honest reaction, that sort of thing. I have seen other people video it, but I ultimately did get my thoughts out before I watch anybody else's videos on what I think on all the changes. And yeah, I think this is pretty good. I think I quite like what they've done here overall. However, they have made some misses to certain cards which I don't like, which I don't think were necessary to what they were trying to achieve, to be frankly honest. We'll go through them. Of course, they're trying to nerf the Orcs and Dark Angels. They were far too strong compared to the rest of the factions. Particularly the Orcs, with their aggro capability, was just way too much compared to what everybody else was trying to do. And then the Tau Empire were the only faction which had below 50% win rate in Legendary Division. Everybody else had above 50% win rate in Legendary Division. As you know, you expect, because people are Legendary on average are probably winning more games than losing. Overall, the end result is Tau Empire probably did need the buff. But I will say that I reckon other factions do need the buffs. Particularly, for example, one being Ultramarines. It's just that Ultramarines playing as Titus right now just had a good matchup into Orcs, because Titus is all about sustain and then has that melee attack, and then there's the Assault Doctrine just to flip the switch against the Orcs. So I do think Ultramarines do need some buffs, to be frankly honest. I think it will show in this season in particular, with late game being not so great, with Assault Doctrine being the only viable win con. Anyway, we'll get into some of the changes here. Basically, Orcs what am I thinking? Right, yes. Overall, these are good changes here. You got the squig buggy, you know, not all. What I think is all these changes here are good, and these changes are bad, and these changes is like, this change doesn't exist. We'll go through them. Basically, gaining 1 extra melee attack during the opponent's turn, like that's what it used to be before. Now it doesn't do that. Well, having extra melee attack during the opponent's turn, it means that the opponent will take more damage if they hit the enemy warlord. You're never gonna hit Mozrog attack back, because that means you take more damage, and you don't want to do that against Mozrog because he's an aggro warlord and was the most aggro warlord in the game. So yeah, I don't see, this is very much a slap on the wrist of Mozrog. I still think he's the best aggro warlord out there, because at the end of the day, unlike Gordrang, where it actually has better potential to be aggro, I would say Gordrang does deal more damage. Mozrog just has more life, also has Stomp, and just has some other things going for him, more consistent in the hero power, whatever. It's still the case. It's just still a better Gordrang as it stands. Really boring. I hate to tell you, but this changes nothing, basically. The only thing it does change is actually, at least when Gordrang faces Mozrog and Gordrang uses his talent to punch Mozrog, he's not going to take as much damage back, I guess. But that is the only, that's what it means. That's all it means. This change right here. It's a real shame. These changes don't like it because they were never the problem. Grizzled Scarboy just gave the Orcs more sustain, which they were chucking out because they didn't want to waste energy on doing sustain when they could just burn face, which was whole difficulty of Orcs. And then same with Wood of Gork. Just people were cutting out their decks, even though it did clear the board and would allow the opponent in theory go face. People were cutting out their decks for just more burn, because who cares about the opponent's board if the opponent is dead? And now these two control tools, which are really important for Orcs playing that playstyle, no longer exist, which I think is a real shame. I don't think they were overpowered at all, and I don't think they should have done these. It stops other playstyles for Orcs, and now we're still just gonna see the pure aggro playstyle, which is, yeah, as I say, I think I don't like. I would have. Orcs having only one playstyle isn't fun, and I don't think that's a good idea. Nob on a Smasher Squig. I think this is right. I saw these cards in aggro Orcs at the end of the day, just as a tempo play, and it probably just is too much value to have concussive as well. You need to have some sort of nerf somewhere. I probably would have gone with maybe one less melee attack for now, and just gone to see with what that would have been. Let's bring up the game. Cards, Orcs. Oh, I don't have all the cards. Very easily. Yeah, so I probably would have gone for one less melee attack. I would have preferred, but I think it did need a slight nerf. I think it was too much value. Squighog boys still bloody good. They're still putting out, where are the Squighog boys? 5 energy, there they are. Still putting out 6 melee attack with a flank. Potential for tides, they're really good in that sense. They can stomp as well, so they can pass over the damage. Yeah, it's still too much value. Arguably, that melee attack could go to 5, and then probably it would be right. It's hard to say, but I think these things are still really good, because you can get that flank off, and they're really solid. But still a good change. Drag it down, of course, needed it to be nerfed. My golly, way too much, just doing way too much, dealing 1 damage to all friendly units. Used to do +1 extra. I probably would have only made that change and left it as it is, but they also changed it so it doesn't give health to troops on the board as well. It only gives health to troops on hand, which is, to be frankly honest, even though I would have only made one change, it's probably fair all in all. Bomb Squigs dealing damage to 1 to 2 instead of 1 to 3, completely correct. I think it's a real shame though, that's the problem. There was a lot of Bomb Squigs going on, which just meant a lot of aggro damage because of the backlash. But it does mean that if you use the Bomb Squigs to actually like clear a board, well, it's not really gonna do that anymore. It doesn't really achieve that. Yes, it did way too much damage to face, because you could get the Bomb Squig itself, which was guaranteed like 1 to 3 damage, potential back unstable damage as well, 50-50 chance, you know. And then you got, what is it? Where's the guy? Got on a Bomb Squig, and then you've got Rocket Truck Squig Buggy down here as well, and then you got potentially Runt Herd as well. So I do think it's a necessary change, but I mean, like in the past when the unstable was a downside, it did 2 to 3, and frankly honest, that was fine because the unstable could damage the opponent's face as well. And so it was used as a more control-based tool to deal with a very large board. Now it's just a pure aggro tool, which I think is a real shame. It's sort of lost its purpose, and now it's just a thing you get if you create it. For example, it's the thing you get from creating a Brought on Bomb Squig, but it doesn't. I don't see much of a reason to play this card in your deck, if I had to be honest. And the final thing is Proper Killy no longer grants +1 melee. I think it's a real shame as well. Well, no, hold on. Sorry, I completely disagree with that. No, Proper Killy, this probably needed to happen. Given your Warded Blood first with all the extra aggro mechanics, I think is a good change. It's just, what I mean is, it's a real shame about the Bomb Squig. but I think it needed to happen, and it's probably overall better for the game. But yeah, proper killie, giving your water buff first. It's still such an increase in aggro potential as it is, and it's still going to give you that lethal range. If you're able to buff up your warlord's attack value with maybe Beast Boss Morgrim, or you're going for something like Mosrog itself, or Gordrang in particular, yeah, they have orcs have pretty darn reliable ways to being able to do that, and I think this is a very good card for just getting that final extra lethal damage. At the end of the day, it can sometimes, well, actually not sometimes, quite a lot of time, just double the output of your damage. I don't think it needed that +1 melee attack also on top of that as well. So yeah, those are the orcs. I've realized my thingy is not showing chat, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. Hold on. Have to give me a second. This is why I wasn't speaking back, by the way. Put that back. Let's bring this down. Do apologize. There we go. The stream has been annoying today. Put that way. So I'm collecting tile next. Yeah, don't believe me. I love what they've done to Dark Angels. Squighog is the most... Yep, I do agree. Proper killie is still auto-include. Come out. Yeah, probably... I think it still is. Particularly if you're going for someone like Gordrang or something like that. It still is. Now, Dark Angels, lots of nerfs that you wonder if you can... Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, GSC, right? If they can get rid of and for the sabotage mechanics for balancing too. Yeah, I think I wish they did take my suggestion a long time back for sabotage, where they actually decrease the longer they decrease in cost, the longer they stay in your hand, instead of just nerfing all the cards which create sabotages, so it never just got out of control. And the reason why that would be the case, it actually incentivizes people to keep them in hand. They're able to get rid of them later, so they would actually still get some sabotage effects going off, but it then wouldn't be permanent and annoying. Yeah, I really hope in a balance update they really make the ambush archetype of GSC a lot more viable. That would be much more fun, I think, just to play against and also play with. If they do that, I'll be very pleased, because I don't think the ambush archetype is even remotely good, but I wish it was. Anyway, Dark Angels. Yeah, Dark Angels. So yeah, 3 changes I agree with overall, and then there are changes which I don't agree with. I personally think. So the 3 changes I think with Dark Angels where they've hit the target, hit it, was definitely Nightmaster. They've hit it with Deadly Hunters, and they've hit it with Inner Circle Companion. So guess 2 changes which I completely disagree with is these 2, and I think Ravenwing Talon Master I'm a bit iffy on, and then I'm also a bit iffy on Rites of Penance, but I can see why for both, to be frankly honest. So what I like about Deathwing Nightmaster, it was just a bit over the top in what it was doing. It didn't need a shield, it's already a really big body anyway. It didn't give him +3 melee attack, just was make your warlord a bit of a beatdown, and it still will do, particularly if you get 2. It's just not nearly as a scary threat anymore. Yeah, it's just solid. I like the change of Deathwing Nightmaster. It still goes to 3 damage across the board. It's still doing the thing you want it to. It's just not nearly as oppressive. It's just bad. Not too bad. Yeah. I think I agree. Yeah, second nerf to the Dark Angels. I think now they're probably balanced. They're like a mid tier, a bit above mid tier, sort of like maybe 5th best faction in the game. That's what I think. Yeah. Oh yes, don't get me wrong, the Deathwing Nightmaster, but it is a 9 energy drop. Like, we gotta realize that it needs to have some sort of reward, but it still does that. Don't get me wrong. If you don't, basically, frankly honest, unless you hard removal it's still gonna just kill you. But I think I like the changes they made, because it means that if you do hard removal it, well, the Warlord doesn't have 5 melee attack now. I can just punch you in the face 3 turns in a row and win. He only has 4, so it's gonna need a bit more turns to be able to do that properly, you know? So I think I like the Deathwing Nightmaster. It's still viable win con. It's just not nearly as I am now going to win, particularly if you don't have hard move. Deadly Hunters. This is another change which was really good. Yeah, it deploying multiple. Deploying one for the Warlord as well, so they always got multiple and then 1 extra. It was just way too much. And you could just play this 7 energy drop just to clear an 8 health unit. Just you know, there's only 1 troop on the board. It has 8 health. I would use Deadly Hunters to kill it. And I think that's not right. It's meant to deal with a wide board, and that's its purpose at the end of the day. And it does that really well still. And then finally, Inner Circle is another change I do like. Melee attack lowered from 5 to 4. I really like this. It just did... The Inner Circle champion, I think, just did too much. It had 5 melee attack, 5 health, stealth, and then also has a duty... not duty, agenda ability to get Vanguard. Like, yeah, come on. +2 instead of +3 is great. Today, outsmash Azrael with Assault Doctrine because of it. Yep. It's a finisher. It does what it needs to do. That's a good one. It's pretty frustrating. Even played a draft against 3 Deadly Hunters. That's painful. 3 Deadly Hunters. Yeah, it's great. You get stupid fast. Yeah, totally. Like, that's Deadly Hunters. I'm so glad they made that change. That was, if they had to nerf, if it was only gonna nerf one thing from the Dark Angels, doing this Deadly Hunters nerf would be the correct decision. If I had to choose one. But yeah. So those are the good things. The bad things is that I don't think Deathwing Champion and Deathwing Knight needed any nerfs at all. Yes, I recognize it with Deathwing Knight is like only playable in Azrael, I'd say, because of massive inconsistency. Deathwing Champion is just arguably wasn't that great beforehand anyway. Like, I know it did a job. Hold on, let's go to Dark Angels. Where are Dark Angels? That's GSC. I need to get rid of Orcs. That's Imperial Guard. Dark Angels. I've pretty much got a full collection. I just don't... I think this is pretty bad. Now it does 7 attack. Like, what is it doing? It's got fast. Most of the time I use this, if I remember playing this in the past, most of the time I use this to kill a troop. Sometimes it could get up in the right situation where they're able to do 8 damage to face. It doesn't really change that much what it does. It can still do 7 damage to face in the right situation. However, I just don't think it really needed a nerf. I don't think it was that oppressive. Same, particularly in Deathwing Nightmaster. Deathwing Knight. It has 4 melee attack. Gosh darn. It gains Vanguard attack by itself. Still does that, thankfully. Otherwise, it would literally be unplayable. I don't think it can. It's doing enough, because it goes most of the time. It goes face. I get that, but if it needed to clear, you needed to use it to clear a troop on the next turn, which you potentially could. it can't do that either. So now it's just gone from 10 damage to face most of the time to, I guess, maybe 4. And that's provided they don't... sorry, maybe 8 if they don't kill it, which is possible, actually. I've done it before. It does have 2 armor, it does have 5 life, which makes it really quite... There's still tanky boy, but I don't think those 2 cards needed a nerf. Asmodees will always top it decking those 2. Yes, but they shouldn't have been. And I think I have played against several Asmodees who were playing it, and then when they don't top deck it, it just felt like... I'm pretty sure they were just... Yeah, I've played against several... It works once in a blue moon where you get the top deck off the Deathwing and then you just get the secrets off and then it all works out. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of time where they just have these guys in their hand, and I see a lot of Asmodees doing nothing, and then later on in the game I see them play the guy with teleport, and then I'm just there going, now I know why you were doing nothing all game. Because they haven't touched Asmodee mechanics. Yeah, and thing is that the Deathwing Knightmaster was probably enough. I could deal, as someone who played Titus, granted that's, I think, a decent matchup as well. I could deal with the Deathwing Knights and the Deathwing Champions comfortably. The only thing I couldn't deal with comfortably was the Deathwing Knightmaster. I had to have hard removal for that. But these I could kill. And I could live through and, you know, survive and all that stuff. And yeah, they did their thing, but I just don't think they bring enough value doing their thing now to justify their existence. I'm going to be looking at other 5-drops and seeing what I can do to replace them. I might not end up replacing Deathwing Knightmaster for Azrael. I might not. Don't know, but it does certainly hurts Azrael in a place where I don't think it was a problem for them to get hurt. So I just, yeah, was harder to beat. No doubt. It is, yeah, he was more of a problem, no doubt. I just don't agree with it. I don't think these... The thing is, I think what these were playable cards in Azrael only are now no longer playable for anyone. And that's, I think, where I stand on these cards. Yeah. Inner Circle Champion, already talked about. Ravering Talonmaster, I'm a bit... Don't know about this. What do you guys think? It having 5 life, I do get it. I'm a bit just meh. Like, did it really need it? I don't know. I don't hate the nerfs because I still think it's a decent card. I still think it does its job. I still think it has the agenda ability. However, I don't think it's like it was destroying the meta or anything like that. So that's what I think about the Ravering Talonmaster. Yeah, I think it's still pretty good, and hence it probably is justifiable. Yeah. And we got that. This is probably actually a good change overall, because Dark Angels are were pretty strong, so we'll see. I think it's, yeah, I still think it's good. Rites or Penance. I find this one a bit random. If I'll explain why, because it's like, why out of all the secrets excuse me, do I have... Yes, I do. Oh, it should be at the bottom. Out of all the secrets, why this one? Like, out of... I think the most problematic secret out of all of them, if you wanted to nerf Asmodee, and wanted to do something about Asmodee and their oppressive nature, which is the only one which really was able to utilize this properly. If you wanted to nerf Asmodee why not nerf this one in some sort of way? Maybe draw less cards, maybe the cost reduction lowered by 3 ends up being 2, you know, that sort of thing. Like, I don't really get it. Like, it makes, you now have instead of a 7/7 Warlord, you now have a 5/5 Warlord. Excuse me. And the 5/5 Warlord will now able to add, it still does damage, so if you play this, you know, where it got a particular problem was if you managed to play 2 of these 2 turns in a row, so you'd able to have a 7/7 Warlord attack face, and then next turn a 7/7 Warlord attack face, and you would take no damage, and you just literally couldn't do anything about it, so you'd take 14 damage to face. Now it only does 10. I mean, it is a nerf. Is it a good thing? A good thing overall? I think maybe Asmodee could use a slight nerf. It just sort of needs. But if I was going to do anything, it would just be the card draw one, and the reason why is it's just because of consistency. So I'm really like meh about this. It's still, of course, an overpowered card. I don't know. It was a finisher. It's good. They need secrets though. Yeah, I do agree. They are. That's the thing. They're all meant to be broken, but like, I don't think this was the best one. I think this is quite comfortably the worst one now. Like, this is the best one, and it's because it's draw 3 cards. It's not a second removal now. I don't know. You think it's the best one? I would have rated this one as being the best one. Just because you end up drawing 3 cards, it thins down your deck. You can draw into other secrets. For example, you could do this, play some cards. You could end up drawing Obscure Ritual, then refill your hand. But that only is all enabled because of this. Because quite often I find that Obscure Ritual isn't worthwhile unless I've got some sort of card draw to play or. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know why this one got nerfed. So, I'm like, meh. I guess I'm not, like, complaining too much, but it just feels like a random change. It didn't feel like they dealt with secrets as a whole, and it just made one particular secret worse, and now it almost feels like it's more RNG at this point, because if you end up getting this secret, you feel really bad now. But if you end up getting this secret, you feel like amazing, right? That's the problem, right? Anyway, those are my thoughts over the Orcs and Dark Angels. I think there's some misses for certain in there, but overall, I think this is a good thing, and I really quite like it. It makes you immortal for a turn, so you can tell it. Top deck. Convoke, little better than kill and stun, I guess. Yeah, it does give you an extra turn. You don't agree? Fair. That's completely fair. I think it's a bit random. It's still an immortal turn, yeah. I am forgetting about that, maybe somewhat. I guess I'm not seeing it. I would have dealt with secrets as a whole. I guess I'm more confused than anything else. It's like, why this one? Why that one in particular? Anyway. We'll go on to Tal next. Versus Neck really need to write to win. Necrons, Imatech probably. Rites of Penance. You reckon you... Well, if you... That's interesting, because that leads on to a whole debate. If you need it to win, then, and you're relying on generating this one random card, which you can't guarantee in generating, and then you need it to win, why did they nerf it? Meh. Right, anyway. Got Tal. There's a lot of changes here, so we should simplify it into of creating great new free energy. Yep, tempo drops 100%. I don't disagree. I would say it's probably a good thing in all honesty, because they need... I think every single faction needs good vanguard troops to be able to stand in the way to take damage for their warlord. And without that, it means that they can't get to the late game. Or they're going to struggle to achieve that. And I think this is a good thing, so that they can get to that later game to able to play cool stuff. So let's go to Tal in general. Let's get rid of that. Where's Tal? Problem is I've got my chat in the way. There we go. Tal. Do I have all the cards? Oh wow, I've got all the cards, don't I? I should be playing Tal. Particularly with buffs now. Right. So let's go over, like, I'm gonna split this into sections. We're gonna go over basically all the vanguard troops. We got the Enforcer battlesuit. Well, no, actually, I'll put it on these two sections. But let's go over the... So we've got Crisis Bodyguard. We've got... What is it? Breacher Shashu. We've got Fire Warrior Breacher. Wish you could, like, filter things via abilities. So just have all the vanguard troops. Anyway. I think these are all really important changes. This had a massive downside of free attack. And wasn't... You know... If you bashed it with your warlord, you have free attack, it took 3 damage. Well, you only took 2 beforehand, and so hence there wasn't much of a downside to just do that your warlord. It only was 2 damage, don't care, get rid of shield and use something to remove it. Now it's an actual legitimate, I'm gonna take some damage here, I have to think about this. I'd rather try and find a way to deal 1 damage some other way, you know? So I think that's a good change. I think this is a good change as well. It's just in the way now. You have to deal with it. You have to shoot through 6 life. You can't cheat it at all. It does its job, and that's what I love about it. And the final one, of course, the free energy drop. Yeah, I think it's necessary and important thing. And I like the stats. It does, as I sort of the same thing as the 5 energy drop. It does its job, and I appreciate it. You're not supposed to win against late Necron by sneaky rights attack. I think there should be some way possible to beat Necrons in the late game. I don't think... I think there needs to be a way. However, I think Necrons should be able to dominate it. And certainly with these Dark Angel changes, they will now be the kings of the late game. I doubt anybody's going to really compete with Necrons doing that. Maybe the new Talgan, but I think Tal are going to be better off going for a bit more of a mid-range build. And we'll get into that reason why. Noxious, yeah. Good Tal troops. Your 4 health unit. Oh dear. Still, they're solid troops. They get in the way, and I think I really like all these. Now, when I get to the, what is it? These changes, there's also a sneaky one here, which they put down here for some reason. It's annoying how they've ordered this, but Stealth Shoot Shashu. Right. So we'll go over the Stealth Shoot one. Where is he? There you are. This guy was so bad for 4 life. Oh my god, when he had 4 life before. I think this was just a necessary change. Having it 5 life was really good. They are infantry. Oh no, I'm saying they're good. I'm saying they're good. Like, am I missing something? Are infantry overpowered or underpowered? Like, they're good. I really like these changes. And you can recall hurt troops. True. You can. Yeah. If they're able to survive, you're able to recall them, play them down again, and they have to deal with it again. I think... I don't think right now they're busted. I think they're perfectly fine. I think they're solid, and I really appreciate them. Yeah, these I really like. They've got 5 life. I think this is not busted at all. I mean, I know stealth drones are good, but you do need something to synergize them with. I think this is always needed their 5 life. I don't know why it didn't. With 4 and 6 energy, you can actually combo them. Before they simply died. Yeah, 100%. That's why I really like the changes. I think these are good changes. You can actually utilize them. They actually do a job. Like, they take up too much resources dealing with these troops, allowing you to able to play into the later game some of these Enforcer battle suits, maybe Cold Star battle suits as well. I think they should be good. I really like the changes. Anyway, this is actually means that he won't just instantly die when he comes out of stealth and attack something, which I appreciate. Also, these, I don't know why these got changes to have 1 armor. I mean, like, they're better now, but also worse. And what I mean by that, if I have anti-armor, it's worse because I'm able to kill it with eradicators now. But if I don't have anti-armor, it's better because now they're just even more tanky than they were before. And but I will say, I don't think this one needed a buff. I can see it with the Cold Star. Cold Star, it's a bit of a late game. It can have struggles just sticking around. But now, these, man, they... Ugh. Like, I think I'm gonna have to use a hard removal to deal with this properly, or something like that. Or I have to get Assault Doctrine, but we're looking at things like, I don't want to use hard removal against this. I want to use hard removal against this. So the only other thing's Assault Doctrine, but this comes down at 6, and Assault Doctrine's like coming down at 8. So, my god, this is gonna be a problem. Tanks, Marklights, and Vulnerability. Yes, true, Assault Doctrine does. If you're talking about Assault Doctrine, mate, Assault Doctrine does tank that, and I think that's pretty darn good. It does help. Oh yeah, Enforcer Battlesuit, I don't think needed a buff, question mark. Like, sort of side grade, almost. But still, yeah, it's a problem. It's gonna be there. It's like, I think this is a Vanguard, but it's also a threat within itself. So, it does everything, man. That's what it feels like. It feels like it does everything. Ugh. Oh yes, and there's also one other thing. This guy got a change. Basically, its talent now costs 0. And yeah, I think this is completely fair. The talent, you never use this for the talent. It was always long range. It was always the shield and the 9 life. And the main thing you particularly did with this is dynamic offensive. I think there's actually a really good battlesuit deck out there, actually. You play a dynamic offensive. And yeah, you give this thing flank. It's thingy costing 0. You never use the talent, and now I think you actually see it, which should be good. You are not going to take that thing down easily. Oh no, never. I don't know a way of easily taking this down. As I say, Assault Doctrine's an 8 energy card. This is a 6 energy card. That is the best way I know of taking this out. Outside of just going, oh, I got Eradicator with Tactical Insight. Like, Eradicator with Tactical Insight clears this, but it clears many things as well. And if I want to, I want to have a tag, against Tal, I want to Eradicator with Tactical Insight against a Broadside Battlesuit. I want it against the Enforcer Battlesuit. I kind of want it against the Cold Star, or maybe I'd save hard removal for that. I'm going down the list. I also want it against the Devilfish as well. There's a lot of things I want my Eradicators able to kill right now. And I already have 2 of them in my deck. Yeah. It's a problem. It's a problem. That's what Tal I expect to be good at. So yeah, we talked about those. We talked about the Sanzo. We'll just talk about Cadre Fireblade for a minute. I don't think this changes anything. The only place it existed, it was in a Go Wide Infantry board. It doesn't buff drones, so it doesn't give them a buff. I think I would rather see it actually buff infantry and drones. And then I think it'll be more viable. Now it buffs battle suits. It's completely like okay, great. I'm not seeing it. They just smash through the Enforcer. How do Tyranids smash through it? I'd like to know. Paints a good picture for Tal, haha. Alva is kind of good now. Early game, B-Man, late game, Gundam. Yeah. 100%. It's got the Vanguard. You can now have, thing is that you now have the Vanguards, like at every stage, to tank for you, to be able to get to that long game, and now you have really bloody good long game stuff. So with all these, so yeah, 100%. Oh, really scary right now. Oh yeah, so that's where is he? No, not you. Yeah, not much on this, I have to say. And now we've got a whole bunch of random 2-drops. Oh, I guess we'll go with a Fire Warrior. And then these two, we'll just deal with these two before we get to a whole bunch of 2 energy, where is it? 2 energy changes. There's these, and there's also randomly, like, priority target as well, which I'm gonna talk about. So this, it actually now has a purpose. This thing, Fire Warrior, it has long range. It does a thing. I'm not calling it good, by the way. I'm just saying now it does something which is meaningful, which is coming out of Devilfish and giving flank. Yeah, and finally this one, nobody cares. It has 8 life instead of 7. It's still bad. Flank, Norn / Venom, Gargoyle, Psychomance comes out at 5. Flank, Norn / Venom. Yeah, okay, Norn Adversary, but that's like a win con, isn't it? Just to make sure, Tyranids. Yeah, it is Tyranids. Gargoyle. Gargoyles are 6-drop and only have 6 range attacks, so they can't kill anyway. They'll die on a clashback. Just look over Tyranids over here for a moment. Because I rate Tyranids as, I'll be honest, I rate Tyranids as one of the weaker factions. So Psychomance, was it? To attack, I guess you could attack the Enforcer first, and he'll have, what is it? So it'll be 4, because the Warlord's damaged, and it'll be 6. So I guess that could kill it. As a flank Psychomance, that would work. But yeah. Also, Apex Predator. Where's... Have I not... Apex Predator? How do I not know this card? Yeah, I mean, like, that's because it's Apex Predator and you have a stealth unit, it works. Look, I'm not saying... I still think it's going to be a struggle for Tyranids to be able to clear it. I don't think it's as simple as doing this. You're talking about 2-card combinations in ideal situations, and I'm thinking I'm looking at having to attack the Warlord, the Enforcer Battlesuit with your Warlord, which means you're going to take 5 damage from that guy. You don't really want to do that. Yeah, no, as I say, Ultramarines in an ideal situation can deal with this. It's Eradicator with Tactical Insight. Like, in an ideal situation, I can deal with the Enforcer. It's not broken in that sense, but it's still very darn good. Oh no, Fire Warrior? Sorry, overstated that. It now has a purpose. I'm not saying it's playable. By the way, Jim, I'm not saying it's playable. I'm just saying it now has an existence in purpose in the fact that if you do get it out with a Devilfish, it can now come down and has long range, so it now has flank, and now can do something. I'm not saying it's good. I should specify. Sorry. These guys aren't good, but at least they're now playable. And they have a combo, which I quite like. Now we're going to get on to all the 2 energy drops, because I do need to wrap things up, guys. What we got? We've got... Where is it? Priority Target, which is 2 energy. Inspired Greatness, which is 2 energy. Recon Sweep is now 2 energy. And then there's another one as well. There was... I swear this also got buffed as well. It was like give +3 melee attack or something. Ah, yeah. Thundering Stampede. So here's Priority Target is Thundering Stampede. And here's Inspired Greatness and Recon Sweep. So I'm going to go over all those. We'll go over Priority Target last, because I'm going to explain why that's completely broken and now could totally destroy the meta. And that's what I'm worried about, in all honesty, out of everything. But we'll go over, what is it? Thundering Rampage. I always thought this was a good card, but it's now even better. So, but people weren't least using it, so maybe I'm wrong. And I can see that. It is 2 NG to get free melee attack, but I always thought it also provides flexibility that if you do have a flank unit, you do have an infantry, you can now also give it flank. And that's why I always thought it was good. And if you need that lethal range, you got the +3 melee attack. I think this will see play now, I hope. And I think people will utilize the flank even more so. Yeah, priority cost is huge. Now you want 2 of those and legendary, that's spam it. Yep, 100%. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Yeah, Thundering Rampage. I guess the only thing is, like, I thought it was better. I thought it was good before, but there you go. It is definitely good now, I feel like. Recon Sweep. Yeah, this now, for 2 energy, now it stuns the enemy and also Marker 1. I think this is a decent card. You're able to stun the warlord, so Jim Boss strategies, any sort of big unit. It also gives you the Marker 1, so it's able to give you that ability later on to kill the target if you need to, or if you just need able to stun. It also gives you Marker gameplay, which will go into this. It's a stunning the enemy warlord. It's going to be a really good, useful thing, and it does what you want it to be able to do. This is now, it was like alright card at 3 NG, and now I think it's a good card at 2 NG. It does kind of everything you want to efficiently. Yeah, 100%. This is a decent card, and it would, well, we'll get on to a priority target, but it also synergizes. There's also another 2 NG card. 1-2, what was it? Recon speed is, oh, Inspired to Greatness. Now, this one is probably needs changes rather just than a cost decrease. Where's Inspired to Greatness? Here we are. It's +2 range attack and +2 life. I don't think this is playable. Even still, at least it's more playable than before, because it used to be a 3 NG card. 2 life, 2 range attack. I mean, meh. I'm not seeing it myself. Maybe you put it down on a flank troop. Maybe it allows it to live. Maybe it helps it kill the final target. That's the only place I'm really seeing it, and that's very situational, to be frankly honest. Otherwise, meh. It's a very meh card, and I wouldn't put it in the deck. Yeah, Shattered Sun can use that as a removal, 100%, with her innate talent, yes. You can definitely do some things. I am suspecting a Shadow Sun sort of aggro deck to be coming viable, and that's because of this card. Yeah, this is completely broken. This was I think this was a good card when it was 3 NG. You gave Marker to the opponent's warlord most of the time. That's what you want to be doing, and you got to understand, this is basically with 3 units attacking the warlord now. This is +6 damage. So when he played it as a 3 NG drop, yes, you got that loss of tempo, but you gain back tempo at some point, and then you just go face. Now you just, from playing the 3 NG earlier, you just got +6 damage against the warlord's face. You don't have to play it earlier. You can just play it on the turn when it's most ideal. Now that it's only 2 energy, you basically, I go, okay, turn 1, now you have 2 Marker Light. Now you just do melee attack for the rest of the game, and when you have a decent board, suddenly this says just spending your turn 1 just Marker Lighting to the opponent's face. It's just equated to like 8 damage with like 4 extra troops, for 8 extra damage. You're already doing the damage from your board with all the drones or whatever. Now it's just, it's broken. I think this is way too much, and I think this will need to go up to 3 NG as well. When you factor in, you got Recon Sweep as well, it's able to stun stack that Marker Light with Marker Light 1. Potential other drones you could be seeing. I think this is actually a really big problem. Yeah. Oh, maybe an option for Ethereal. What, like Unvar? It doesn't, Ethereal Serene Unifier doesn't generate that. Maybe it could be another option. I don't know, but it's like Inspired Greatness. Like, what is it? It's the shield they can generate. They can generate a Sands of Stone or something like that. Yeah, Sands of Stone, which is armor 1, and then they can generate Storm of Fire, which is the big one. Oh yeah, also Dark Strider. Where is he? Is that the one card I don't... Yes, this is the one card I don't have. Yeah, you can get this guy out. It gives stealth to drones, and it also, you can stack that Marker Light. You can get the stacking Marker Light really high. Yeah, Go Wide Tar are gonna be nasty if they can get the decent... Yeah, 100%. It's gonna do work. But I think this... I think this card, you don't need to use this in Go Wide for it to be useful. I think you can use this in a Shadow Sun sort of like... battle suit sort of deck where you just have, you can just Marker Light the opponent's face. You can get that Marker Light really high. Sorry, not that. With this, and then you can just do a whole bunch of damage. 16 extra damage for little effort, 100%. Yeah, like just because 16, because you can get 2 of them, and the fact that it stacks with Recon Sweep as well doesn't help. Really doesn't help. Because you got to realize we're not looking at... We're talking about 4 units attacking. This is including the Warlord. Stack it with that as well. You know, theoretically that's 6. So you're looking at 24 extra damage. If we're going to go based on that. And that's what I mean. Is that you have 3 troops. It's not 24. It's 18 extra damage. That's still totally viable. You have two units attacking. Merely 2 units. That's 12 extra damage. That can be 1 big unit. So that could be one of the best units in Force Battle Suit. So you got 7 damage. You got your Warlord, which is going to do an extra 3 damage. So that's 10 damage, and you're just casually stacking an extra 12 damage onto that. So you've done 22 damage in a single turn. To the enemy's face. Hope you enjoy! Yeah, this for 2 NG is too much. Finally, the counterattacks are a lot better. Tidewall Gunrig, we don't really need to cover this, but like Tidewall Gunrig is now your best option, I'd say quite comfortably. 1 energy to deal 3 damage to troop. And Watchtower, if you're going for that Marker Light strategy, where you're going like heavily on this, you might want to use the Watchtower. But I think you're probably still better off using the Tidewall, to be honest. Just able to remove a troop, and it allows you to then have the extra energy to just Marker Light the opponent's face. That's 3 troops for a measly cost. Yep, 100%. It's scary, man. It really is. Yeah. So this might be the new best faction in the game? Question mark. Because of this, I don't know. Okay. Unlistening Jim. Yep, 100%. It stacks with priority target and mark him. Yep. I think you can get a turn 5 kill. The problem is, this is the one problem. I don't disagree. If you got the synergy going, there definitely is an argument for Watchtower. I don't disagree on that. I just think it'll be more reliable to go Tidewall Gunrig, dealing with the enemy troops. Because if they got Vanguard units, like, there's a lot of Vanguard in Tal right now, funnily enough. So if they've got a Vanguard troop, which you don't have Marker Light on, just removing the troop for cheap cost and then going for face might just be better. But I don't disagree. I think it needs testing to see if like this is better if you're going for that specific build. However, if it's better than Tidewall Gunrig, but I think it's a legit option. I think you can get Fern 5 kill. Yeah, thanks for the content so far. You're welcome. I'll be going off in just about a minute or 2. See infantry with those changes. I see infinity with those changes, lol. Yeah, I also somewhat do. I'm not gonna lie. Particularly this one. Yeah. I think I stand by my point. Tidewall gun rig, dealing 3 damage to a troop, kills things, and then it gives you more energy just to do what you want to do. Yeah, full Marker Light, 100%. That is a build which is coming. If you want a bit of practice on that, what is it? I can't see it because of my own chat. Oh, I just got it up. There we are. What is it? Patient Hunter. This is it. I think it has 2... It got double recon sweep. Does it have priority target? Yeah, it's got double priority target. So if you want a bit of practice and know how it feels, you can use this and see how it does. Yeah, it's gonna be scary. Tile legit now. Their problem. Much better. Hi, Warlord, though, Shadowsun Onvar. Which Warlord? I think you meant. Yeah, which Warlord? Shadowsun could be it. However, it could also easily be Onvar. Canada Mesos would be if you're going for go wide with drones and stuff, which I could definitely see. Still, because it was like the best option beforehand. You got to realize. And you can still, you still got the battle suits which create drones, so that will be more of a late game build. And I think you're not going to be going pure thingy now. You're going to have Fire Warriors, you're going to have the Crisis battle suits, but you also have Bucha Shashu in the way. So that's where it'll be that build. But if you're going to go that pure Marker Light, try and get the Marker Light going and just get that lethal range, I think I can only imagine Shadowsun being the best option for that, just because of its multiple flexible thingy, giving Marker Light, it actually enables basically your hard removal, and you don't have to waste your Marker Lights doing the hard removal. You can just do the Shadowsun thing. I would say Shadowsun in short, but Onvar could just be better because it's like the constant life giving, and then the ability to get shields, and maybe even amplify it with on the turn that you need it with Storm of Fire. I would like Shadowsun to be better here, though. I don't know. That's the short answer. But yeah, there we are. I think that's enough content for today. I need to get going and doing some stuff. It is 15 to 10. Yikes. See you all. Hope you enjoy.